You think the world is chaotic? I get it. War, inflation, AI taking jobs. It feels like everything is breaking at once. But what if I told you this has all happened before? The economy is not random. It is a script. And right now we might be reaching the season finale. There is a hidden pattern that governs money. The last time the clock hit zero was 1929, the Great Depression. The world fell apart and wealth was wiped out. Now look at the calendar. We are approaching 2029, exactly 100 years later. So here is the trillion-dollar question. Are we just paranoid, or are we staring at a ghost from the past? Most people are scared because they do not know the script. They think the roller coaster is flying off the tracks, but the rich are not scared. They are excited because while everyone else is guessing the future, the wealthy are just looking at the map. I simplified every economic crash, so you ready to get rich? Before we look at the timeline, we need to understand the machine. Every single crash follows the exact same four-step pattern. It does not matter if it is tulips or tech stocks. Human nature never changes. Ray Dalio calls this the debt cycle. I call it the greed loop. Once you see this pattern, you will never look at the news the same way again. Stage 1 is the good times. Money is cheap. Interest rates are low. Everyone has a job and everyone feels smart. You buy a stock and it goes up. You feel like a genius. This confidence leads to stage 2, which is the bubble. People stop buying things because they need them and start buying them because they think the price will go up. They borrow money they do not have to buy assets they do not understand. Prices detach from reality. Stage 3 is the pop. Eventually the music stops. Maybe the government raises interest rates. Maybe a war starts. Whatever the trigger is, the result is panic. Everyone tries to sell at the same time, but there are no buyers. This leads to stage 4, which is the opportunity. This is the moment the rich are waiting for. While everyone else is selling in fear, the wealthy step in and buy everything for pennies on the dollar. Now, let's apply this pattern to the big one, the Great Depression. This is the blueprint for every crash that followed. The 1920s were called the Roaring Twenties for a reason. It was a party. New technology like radios and cars made everyone feel like the future was unlimited. The stock market went up for years. It felt like it would never stop. But there was a hidden problem. It was fueled by margin debt. Regular people were borrowing money to gamble on the stock market. Imagine a taxi driver borrowing $10,000 to buy a meme coin. That is basically what happened. Everyone from shoeshine boys to bankers was leveraged to the hilt. They thought the party would last forever. Then came the pop. In 1929, the bubble burst. The market did not just dip, it fell 89%. It took 25 years for the market to recover to its previous high. This was not just a recession, it was a total reset of the global economy. This is what a stage 4 event looks like when the debt cycle fully unwinds. You might be asking, what about the world wars? What about the 80s? I am skipping them for a reason. Wars are different. We are looking for self-inflicted wounds. We are looking for the moments where greed made us stupid. And to find the next perfect match to the insanity of 1929, we have to jump forward 70 years to the turn of the millennium. We had a new invention called the internet. Just like the radio in the 20s, people thought this new tech changed the laws of economics. They believed that profits did not matter anymore. All that mattered was growth. This was the dot-com bubble. People were buying stocks in companies that had never made a single dollar of profit. If a company had .com in its name, its stock would double overnight. There was a company called Pets.com that spent millions on a sock puppet commercial but had no way to make money. It went bankrupt in less than a year. The hype was blinding. Then reality hit. The bubble popped in 2000. The Nasdaq fell 78%. Even Amazon lost 90% of its value. The lesson here is brutal but simple. Innovation is real. But valuation matters. Just because a technology is going to change the world does not mean every company involved will get rich. Most will go to zero. 8 years later, we messed up again. But this time, it was not about buying bad stocks. It was about buying bad houses. In 2000, we had a valuation problem. In 2008, we had a leverage problem. This was the great financial crisis. Banks got greedy. They ran out of qualified people to lend money to. So they started lending to anyone. No job, no income, no assets. They called these subprime loans. It was a fancy word for toxic waste. People bought 3 or 4 houses thinking they could flip them for a profit. The entire global economy was betting that house prices would only go up. Spoiler alert, they went down. When the bubble popped, it was not just investors losing money. The plumbing of the world broke. Lehman Brothers collapsed overnight. Credit markets froze. The government had to step in and print billions to save the system from total annihilation. This crash taught us a scary lesson. Even the biggest banks in the world can go to zero if they are built on a foundation of bad debt. And guess what? Global debt is higher today than it was back then. Then came 2020. This one was different. It was not a bank failure or a stock bubble. It was a black swan. A virus shut down the entire world economy overnight. The market crashed 30% in a month, but the crash is not the important part here. The response is, to save the economy, governments panic, printed money. In the United States alone, they printed 40% of all US dollars in existence in just 2 years. They flooded the system with cash to stop a collapse. This is why your groceries are expensive today. We treated a broken leg with morphine. It stopped the pain, but it did not fix the bone. Now we are dealing with the hangover. We have high inflation. We have high interest rates. And the government is drowning in debt. We kicked the can down the road, but the road is ending. And this brings us to the most dangerous date of all, the 100-year anniversary. Now put all the pieces together. This is why economists are losing sleep over 2030. In the past, we fought these villains one at a time. In 2000, we fought a tech bubble. In 2008, we fought a debt bubble. In 2020, we fought inflation. But look around you today. We are fighting all 3 at the same time. The 3 horsemen of the economic apocalypse are riding together. Ask yourself the hard questions. Is the artificial intelligence boom real innovation, or is it just the dot-com bubble wrapped in a new code? Nvidia is worth more than the entire German stock market. Does that make sense? Or is it just hype? Look at your wallet. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. Can consumers keep spending money they do not have forever? Or is the consumer about to break just like they did in 2008? And what about the dollar? We printed trillions to survive the pandemic. But every action has a reaction. Can the US dollar remain the world reserve currency if we keep diluting it? What happens if the world stops trusting the dollar? What happens if oil is traded in another currency? These are not conspiracy theories. These are mathematical probabilities that get higher every single day. Ray Dalio calls this the end of the long-term debt cycle. He calculates that this supercycle resets every 75 to 100 years. The last reset was 1929. If you add 100 years to that date, you land exactly on 2029. The math is terrifyingly precise. We are not just due for a recession. We are due for a generational reset. Is it destiny? Is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Or is it just a coincidence? We do not know for sure, but the signs are flashing red. A 100-year storm is forming off the coast, and most people are still sitting on the beach building sandcastles. You have to ask yourself one final question. If the music stops tomorrow, do you have a chair? So, how do you survive the 100-year storm? Do you build a bunker? No, you build a war chest. The wealthy do not panic during a crash. They go shopping. But you cannot shop if you have no money. This is the wealth protocol. Step 1 is cash. You need dry powder. Stop buying things you do not need. Save aggressively. In a crash, cash is not trash. It is oxygen. It gives you the power to buy assets when they are on sale. Step 2 is patience. When the crash starts, do not catch a falling knife. Wait for the dust to settle. In 2008, the market did not bottom for months. Let the panic wash over everyone else. Watch the news, but do not react to it. You are a sniper waiting for the perfect shot. You are waiting for stage 4, the opportunity. Step 3 is courage. This is the hardest part. You have to buy when everyone else is screaming sell. You have to buy when the news says the world is ending. Baron Rothschild said the time to buy is when there is blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. This is how generational wealth is made, not in the boom, but in the bust. History is a circle. The winter is coming, but after winter comes spring. If you are prepared, you will not just survive the reset, you will own the recovery. Do not let the cycle crush you. Let it carry you to the top. Thanks for watching. If you want to build your financial armor, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.